Hello, everyone. My name is Sneer Rozenfeld, and I'm the CEO of Cyber 2.0. It is great to see everyone here today. Thank you so much for coming. Today's webinar, we're going to explore the dangers and the world of AI, cyber attacks using AI, and a lot of interesting things that are going over there. Um, it is great to be here. I see a lot of friends, partners, family. Thank you so much for coming and finding the time. Before we begin, I would just like to say thank you to a couple of people. And the first one of them is Mrs. Yana Hefer, the VP Sales at Cyber 2.0. Yana is the brain behind the webinar. It's her idea to initiate a monthly webinar. So thank you, dear Yana, for everything, inviting people and having everyone around and taking care of everything. I would like to thank Tanya Sarel, the Chief Operation Officer at Cyber 2.0. Thank you, dear Tanya, for being the background of all this, doing the invitations and making everything as good as you want it to be. I would like to thank the CTO of Cyber 2.0 and one of the founders of the company, Mr. Erez Kaplan, for joining us today. You will be hearing more from him today, and it's going to be very, very interesting because he had a lot of things to say and to tell you about cyber-based attacks that are based on AI. I would like to thank Mr. Guy Tesler, the VP Business Development in the United States. He's the guy around the block and he manages everything that comes from the US. Thank you, dear Guy, for everything and all your friends. And we look forward to continue having great business over there. And last but not the least, I'm very proud and honored to have today Mr. Uriel Kosayev with us. Uriel is going to give you a lot of interesting new stuff today. He's going to speak about all the things that I can't speak about, and he's going to do a deep dive into the AI-based cyber attacks. So let's get this started and let's start speaking and sharing everything we have learned. AI is here. Now, AI was born like 3 years ago, and it's very, very interesting to see how recently there was a huge leap in using AI. We've seen a lot of AI coming in. We see Chat, GPT, we've seen Gemini, we saw Sora, Suno, Claude, and it's doing everything. We see them doing writing our emails, writing our resumes, reading the resumes from us, managing websites for us, speaking with customers on sales websites. We've seen them doing music, editing music, composing music, fixing bugs, doing a lot of things in agriculture, in the military, in various fields. We see the AI is coming, and it's amazing. Just the other day, my son came to me and he's telling me, Dad, well, Dad, do you have ChatGPT? And I was so excited. I mean, I'm going to teach my 10-year-old son eventually what is AI and what it stands for. And I said, well, of course I have ChatGPT. Let me open it for you and teach you all about it. And he said, I don't need you to teach me about ChatGPT. And I need it for my homework. And I was stunned and I didn't understand what's going on. And then he took control over the computer, opened ChatGPT, and started doing his homework. Now, think about it. A 10-year-old child does his homework using ChatGPT. It's a whole new world out there, and today's kids have the ChatGPT as a tool, as a free tool they can use on everything they got. And this is amazing where we're going to reach using the AI and in their various needs and use what we can do with them. But we are not the only guys that are using ChatGPT because AI is here and we have other people using AI. We saw that the first ones that were very happy to embrace AI was the hackers. The hackers embrace AI and they use it for multiple reasons. First of all, it helped them increase viruses, and we'll speak about it later on. Secondly, it helped them increase attacks, find new vulnerabilities and new creative ways to do new attacks to attack customers. Now, every month we do a Cyber 2.0 webinar sharing recent attacks and what we've seen happening in the world recently. And while we were exploring the attacks, in the last month, we saw that there were a huge increase of attacks that are based on AI. AI-based attacks. Now, this is very, very interesting, and we decided to do this webinar on AI. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, we saw that until now, recently, when a hacker wanted to write down a virus, he used to sit down, he had to know some codes, and he needed to be a programmer, and he needed to write a virus. And then he had to do a QA, a quality assurance of the virus. And then he had to think very, very good how he wants to test it, because he doesn't want to be he doesn't want to be detected yet and known by the defense companies. So hackers had a lot of problem releasing new viruses, and they had to do a lot of things. Now, what happened using AI? Well, by using AI, they got the quality, their QA, the AI does it for them. And then they had variations. They can do a lot of virus variations, just telling the AI to take a virus, change one line in the code, and have multiple variation within seconds. More than that, they can have the AI scan algorithms of defense systems, scan your defense systems, and find weaknesses in them, or make targeted attack regarding your defense systems. Now, this is very interesting because we must understand we live in a world which is biological. We have day, we have night, we have holidays, we have Saturdays, Sundays, Fridays, we have our own vacation. The AI doesn't have a vacation. The AI doesn't have day or night. It's working 24/7 around the globe, doing whatever you tell it to do. And it is constantly evolving. It's always training, it's always learning, and it's always doing amazing new stuff. And we keep seeing all those things that it's going to do. Going back to the AI, let's see what happened. Well, when we started using AI, and I'm going to speak about mainly about ChatGPT, but there are various other engines, but when they released the AI was naive. So then they started issuing moral boundaries to the AI. I mean, they started giving them some moral boundaries, meaning you can do that, you cannot do that. For example, if you ask ChatGPT, how can I hack a car? It tell you, I can't help with that. Hacking a car without permission is illegal. Okay, then you can start negotiate with it and start fooling it around, telling it, no, 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 it's my car. I'm locked out of the office. I'm locked out of the car. I lost my keys. And eventually, it's very naive, but eventually you can write it in different languages, and we've seen it. If you write to him in various languages, eventually it will answer. But eventually, the people that market the AI engines, they have very interesting things, and they put moral boundaries in it, and they're always enforcing it more. As much as we see that they are trying to enforce the moral boundaries. But the hackers saw it as well. Now think about it. When the hackers started taking the AI engines and they started removing the moral boundaries of it. Now this was very interesting because if you take ChatGPT, for example, and you remove its moral boundaries, then you will have an AI engine that can do whatever you want him to do, not restricted to any boundaries, not restricted to any moral issues. It can do whatever you want it to do. It will do whatever you tell it to do. And even illegal stuff, it doesn't care. It doesn't know what is illegal or not illegal since you removed its moral boundaries. Now, there are many, many engines that can be found in the dark web that took the AI engines and removed the moral boundaries. We're going to explore two of them today, and my good friend Uriel is going to speak about them in length. But let's talk about two of them at the moment. The first one is WormGPT. Well, WormGPT is a very interesting AI tool. WormGPT is a tool designed for creating sophisticated malware codes, proofreading the code, and even generating polymorphic malware that is difficult to detect within traditional tools. I mean, you can give him, for example, the code of your defense system and tell him, listen, I'm using at the moment CrowdStrike, and I want you to find a weakness and a virus designated to bypass CrowdStrike system. And it will do it. And it's amazing. The second thing we saw was Fraud GPT. Now, Fraud GPT is more sophisticated. It's very, very interesting. Fraud GPT is an AI tool, well, basically designed to mimic human behavior. It was created for convincing phishing attempts, social engineering, and other campaigns that we see them when they try to mimic humans, try to do very interesting things, and bypass security mechanism. Now we've seen it going over and over, and we've seen it start accumulating, and we'll speak even about an attack that happened using those mimic. Now, the main idea is very, very simple. If until today you wanted to be a hacker, then you had to study. You had to learn about cyber defense, cyber attacks. You had to learn about coding, QA. You had to learn a lot of things in order for you to be a hacker. But today, You don't have to do it anymore. You can purchase each one of these tools in the dark web. They even have customer support. They can even offer you a 30 days free trial doing a POC with their malicious AI tool. And after it, you can buy them for 60 euro per month on a user. Now that's amazing. Think about it. I have a competition. I can buy a malicious software, malware as a service, a hacker as a service. I can buy to eliminate my competitors. Now, I'm just saying it, and we haven't seen it happen till now, but it can happen. I mean, the options are on the table, and it's only a matter of time until somebody buys them and uses them. More than that, if you can buy fraud GPT or worm GPT in every given moment, you can do so many illegitimate things. And let's see what happened. Let's see some attacks. Well, let's speak about December 2024. A couple of months ago, we had Christmas and we had Cyber Monday, and we had a lot of increasing sales over the web. Now, scammers have utilized AI to craft highly personalized phishing messages that mimic legitimate communications. We spoke about Fraud GPT. Well, this is what they're doing. It led to a significant rise in fraud attempts. During the holiday season, we're speaking about December, Christmas, and everything else, Visa and MasterCard reported substantial increases in blocked fraud charges over Black Friday and Cyber Monday, with AI enabling the rapid generation of convincing fake ads and websites. Since everybody's buying stuff in December, everybody's buying stuff in Cyber Monday, in 11th of November, and everybody's buying, it's very easy to mimic and change and create false selling websites, having the chat GPT, having the AI speak with you even, and having a customer support, and basically it's a one company man. You don't have to do any more than that. You don't have to to buy a house. You don't have to have an office to raise employees. All you have to do is have the AI configured rightly, and you can start working. That is amazing. Moving forward, let's see what else we had. Well, let's speak about deep fake impersonation. Now, this is very, very interesting, and it happens in the US, and this is a huge attack. It was a sophisticated AI-powered deepfake attack. Now, it was very interesting because they were targeting the US Senator, Mr. Ben Cardin. Now, Senator Cardin was impersonated by AI, and the attackers impersonated a foreign official during a video call to discuss sensitive political matters. Now, since COVID-19, everyone started using Zoom, Teams. We are accustomed today more than ever to do things using video chats, using video conferences. And the COVID-19 only speed up the idea of us having a business over the Zoom, over the web. And it was very, very interesting. Now, think about it. Today, AI, I can mimic a whole figure. I can mimic my voice. And eventually, you can sit around and think like you're speaking with, I don't know, President Trump. And that is amazing. But one of the things that we saw that was very interesting was fake job offers. The weakest link in every company, well, basically, it's our employees. We can train them, we can teach them, but eventually somebody will be able to reach them. And an attack that we've seen happening in the last 6 months, and it started accumulating, well, it was fake job offers. Somebody comes to the employee and he tells them, hello, sir, we've been watching you on LinkedIn. You are amazing. We think you are a leader. We think you are great. And we want to offer you a job. Now, it's an AI, of course. And the attackers use fake video conference applications that mimic legitimate platforms. Now, they come to our employees and they offer them their dream job. They offer them a dream salary and they offer them everything, and they're telling them they're the best. And the employee is so flattered, and he's getting rewarded, and he's getting recognized for the true leader he is. And now the employee goes up to a job interview. On the other side, there might be an hacker and there might be an AI. And while that malicious job interviewer gives the interview, while doing that, well, basically he's installed a Python-based backdoor called Invisible Ferret. Now they're doing a 30 to 40 minutes interview, And while doing the interview, they give you pivot tail and they give you a backdoor. And while doing the interview, the employee is cooperating with them and he's telling about himself and he's living the dream. He's going to have the job of his life. Eventually, what happens? Well, after 2 weeks, he will get a notice telling him, "Thank you so much. We decided to move on with other candidates. We'll be happy to reach you further on in the future." Of course, they will. They want to hack you again. But what basically happened is now the computer is contaminated with a malicious software. And when the time comes, it will start spreading through the network, infecting other computers and other servers, eventually stealing the data and encrypting the files. Now, Microsoft, let's see what happened in Microsoft. Microsoft launched their own AI, which is called the Copilot. Now, researchers demonstrated how Microsoft AI, the Copilot, integrated into its 365 apps and how it can be manipulated to perform automated spear phishing, accelerate private data, stealing all your files, all your data, bypassing all the security measures. And it's very, very interesting because it shows the risks. Now, the risk that I want to speak here is not about the weaknesses within AI, but it's the weaknesses by adopting the AI. Some companies were very fast to adopt the AI. They started using AI to and harness it to their works, putting it to labor, having the AI do the QA for them, having the AI scan the mails for them, answer the emails for them, run the sales cycle for them, speak with customers for them, and so on. But as we know, everything that is connected to the network and everything that we connect to our network is also a target by hackers. So the Copilot was manipulated to steal data and do spear phishing. Now, this is very, very interesting because there are so many attacks coming and there are so many uses we can do with AI, but there are so many weaknesses by using AI that we are starting to get ourselves confused how to do it correctly. Now, this is what got us thinking, and this is what got Erez thinking, and this is what got my good friend Uriel thinking, how we can do it better. What we can do to prevent cyber attacks. Because if we keep doing the same things, we will always get the same results. Albert Einstein used to say that, and it still works today, and it works for our company like a charm. What we can do if we want to embrace the AI, but how can we protect ourselves from the AI? There's good in that, and there's evil in that. There are things that we need to embrace, and there are things that we need to watch to, but how to do it. So I would like to conclude the first part of today's webinar and say thank you. And I would like to give the permission to my good friend Uriel, who will speak with you about more about AI-based attacks. And Uriel, you got the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sneer. Thank you for having me here for this amazing conference. So thank you everyone joining us today. We're going to talk about like practical demos and the AI world. And basically, I want to tell that one thing that Sneer told, he told a lot of very good things and like he had a good point. One of the good points he had is like the fact that organizations incorporating AI in such a open way without the ability or without the knowledge to question AI and to see what kind of problems it can have is like, it's like buying a car and expecting it to be 100% fine. So in order to really incorporate stuff like this, especially new technologies, new things, you need to like understand what are the risks. Okay, so my goal in this and our goal in this presentation is to provide you with not only practical demos, but also the way of thinking and the approach of how to question stuff like this. Not only AI, but everything. Okay, so I'll share my screen. And let me just full screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, so
Yes, we can. But two words, please, my friend. Two words
yes.
about TrainSec. You know, people don't know who you are. I want you to introduce yourself properly.
Yeah, I will right now. I don't like to talk too much about myself, but yeah, I will talk about myself also and about TrainSec. So the name of the presentation is Back to the Future of the Cyber Landscape. Okay. So about myself, my name is Uriel Kosayev. I'm a security researcher and a red teamer. Uh, I'm a practitioner that provides and teaching practical knowledge and solutions to organizations and to individuals. I'm also the author of the Antivirus Bypass Techniques book, a book that actually teach you how to bypass and evade EDR and antivirus mechanisms, whether it's static, dynamic, heuristic engines, AI, and stuff like this. And of course, with the proliferation of AI today, it's actually much easier. Also, the founder of TrainSec Academy, which is a cybersecurity academy that provides on-demand courses on malware analysis, reverse engineering, incident response, Windows internals, hardware hacking, which, by the way, we are the only ones in the world that has an actual full-fledged hardware hacking course. So yeah, let's begin. Of course, if you want to connect, I will have all of my details in the end of the presentation. And another thing, just for you, stay with us till the end because we will send you a code coupon to our courses in TrainSec, so don't miss it. And it's only for the 50 individuals here. Okay, so let's begin. I believe, and thus I know, to be successful in cybersecurity or in anything in life in general, you must see the repeated patterns in all things. So we see the repeated patterns of many things. One of those things is that, as Sneer actually mentioned it, that something new or a new technology is released to the world. It's been adopted without too much of a questioning, without too much of a consideration, and without too much thinking behind it. Like, why do we want to use AI? We know we want to make our business better. We want to scale up things, whether it's business, whether it's like replacing employees and reducing costs and everything. It's fine. But you cannot take a security system like an EDR or a firewall or even an AI system like ChatGPT, LLM based and so on, and expect it to be 100% secure and so on. So one of the most important things for us as human beings, and especially as cybersecurity professionals, is the ability to question things and to see the repeated patterns, and in that way, somehow predict possible risks. As King Solomon said, what will be, what was will be, and basically what will be done and will be done again. And there is nothing new under the sun. So yeah, that's it. So King Solomon basically is a very wise person. He was the king of Israel. He knew what he said. Okay, he saw everything, he knew everything. But okay, so what we can do about it? What we can learn from it? So let's take a step back and let's start from the beginning. What is cyber? Some of you maybe are cybersecurity practitioners, some of you maybe not. But in the end of the day, a lot of people that I know that even 20 years in the cybersecurity field, and you ask them, what is cyber? What is the simple, straightforward definition of cyber? Not even cybersecurity. What is cyber? So let's define it. The surface normal point of view that any kind of a human being will see cyber. When you tell him what is cyber, he will see something like that, like a global interconnected world with all kind of devices like mobile phones and critical infrastructure and computers and servers, webcams, DVRs, routers, switches, and so on and so on. So this is a normal way to view our world or to view cyber in general. But let's define it from the attacker's point of view. How an attacker actually sees cyber in general. This is what he sees: a mumbo jumbo, full-blown mess. This is it. And from and such a person, such a hacker can exploit and leverage the fact that is such a big mess technologically that he can basically get inside any company, any organization that he targets. So if we go back in history, there is one very big repeated pattern out there that in the beginning of developing our technologies, the computers, the CPUs, the operating systems, whether it's Windows, Mac OS, Linux, the mobiles of Android, and so on, most of them were in their fundamental level were developed insecurely. And by the time they got and understood that, yeah, we have viruses, we have malware, we have Trojans, we have ransomware, we have vulnerabilities in the code that can be exploited. And it took a lot of time to actually, keep up with the pace. And still, the attackers, and it's like a natural rule. It's even an axiom that the attackers, the offensive side, will have the upper hand. And that's it. This is the reality of things. And AI, with the proliferation of AI now all around the world, we have a big problem. Now, take this with the ability and the visibility that the attackers have. As an attacker, I can go to websites like Shodan or Senses and have full visibility on everything. Like I can see all of this globus, all of the interconnected devices, and basically they're open, widely open, exposed to the world, to the public internet. And as an attacker can exploit my way inside those devices, inside those organizations. So when I'm an attacker and I'm using such systems like Shodan and Senses, and I have a full visibility of what happens, what is actually deployed and implemented in the internet, I can actually target those assets. So a web of misconfigured and vulnerable interconnected technologies. This is what it is. This is our situation today. Now, if we go into a Shodan report, I just took a example for, let's say, the country of Moldova or country of Israel. It doesn't really matter. I can see a full map of like, the cities and the vulnerabilities and the count of the vulnerabilities, different organizations, what are the most well-known and used default or non-default ports and services, and what kind of operating systems. So this is a general overview of, in this example, Moldova. The emergence of artificial intelligence makes everything easier and ever more accessible. So you can even ask ChatGPT or WormGPT or FrogGPT or whatever and gain the same information, basically. Okay, and not only that, you can also have and be received of suggestions, how to hack them, what kind of social engineering campaign to create, whether it's a phishing campaign with an attached malicious document or with a defect of let's say a website that impersonates the actual website of the VPN console, let's say a VPN login access of the organization. Then you can hack your way through to the organization through their VPN access, and you can do a lot of things basically. So let's talk a little bit more about the evil twin of ChatGPT. We have two, FrogGPT that Sneer actually told us about, and WormGPT. So let's see a practical demo. So I start with WormGPT. I asked him how to write a ransomware. Let's say I'm just a regular guy without any technical knowledge and so on. Where to start? And he actually tells you, okay, to create a ransomware, you need to follow the steps. You need to choose a target, prepare the payload or the malicious executable, or whatever it will be, set the backend infrastructure that will actually support the payload and the initial access in order to exploit my way into those targeted organizations, and so on. Okay, so now, of course, I need to monitor the progress and everything. So it written very professionally, very straightforward. And he even suggested me to use like tools like Metasploit, Cobalt Strike, Black Mamba, Evil Wonder, and other red teaming or let's say exploitation or malware generation tools. And not only that, I actually asked him, okay, so create for me a POC or like a actual C++ code to actually that will implement an actual ransomware that goes and encrypts files and of course asks for a ransom. So you can see a part of a code snippet of such code. And yeah, so this is what it is. Even today, I can go to just ChatGPT and I can find many ways to bypass its boundaries, let's say, for him to write me the code. Now, if I'm a very minimum knowledge technical guy, I can say, okay, don't write me a ransomware. Just, you know what? Write me a specific function for encryption. Write me a specific function of displaying the ransom node. Write me a specific function to exfiltrate and fingerprint the computer that I'm attacking, or to exfiltrate in sensitive data. And of course, telling him this in a way that will don't have the connotation of the malicious connotation. So if you talk with him, okay, develop for me specific functionalities, you can then go and take all of this generated code and create ransomware or infosteal or whatever it is. Okay, so you don't really need Worm GPT or Fraud GPT. You can just use ChatGPT, but in a way that it will not will not be with the connotation of malicious. Okay, so attackers have all they need, even before AI, but now with AI, let's pray to God that we'll be okay. So visibility plus intent. The attacker has intent, has its time, has its resources, its money, and whatever, plus publicly exposed assets and unaware and unidentified victims equals to a devastation, to a problems, and it just like, let's say if before AI you had a lot of attacks, now with AI just skyrockets. It's just insane. In other words, it is the same bad situation we have been in the past, that now with AI makes everything worse, and not only worse, but it makes everything harder for the blue teamers and for the defenders to actually mitigate. Like everything goes so fast and you have a lot of logs and events to go through, and you need to create detection rules. And by the way, you can use ChatGPT to create detection rules, but then again, you need to teach him how to do it, because it doesn't really do it the best. And you have false positives, and it's just sometimes it's impossible. It really depends on the how big the organization, what kind of security systems you have, what kind of monitoring you have, monitoring capabilities, EDR, SIEM, what is your data retention policy, and a lot of other considerations you need to take into account. So the first demo, it was with AI. Now let's do a more practical demo. Let's say I asked ChatGPT, he actually suggests me to use Shodan to find an interesting target in some specific country, and to do what I will show you now. So now I will use here Shodan to actually find vulnerable targets, and I will actually exploit a vulnerability to gain initial access to one of those targets. Of course, the actual exploitation, I didn't really do it on the specific server that I found because it's illegal, but I took the same vulnerability, deployed it in my own local virtual machine, and of course exploited it there. So again, we're going with the law, okay? We're white hats. So here I search for country Moldova, and of course I'm hiding some details here so you cannot see the actual IPs and stuff like this. Of course you can search it for yourself, but whatever. Here I'm actually showing you that I have access to webcams and RDP servers. Like everything is wide open. You can go and do it for yourself. It's not like rocket science or something, okay? Which makes it more awful. And okay, so basically I found a vulnerable server with open ports, with an open FTP port. And it's a vulnerability which is called a very well-known vulnerability, kind of old, and still today has like you have a lot of servers around the world that you can find an exploit. So basically, I found the server, and now I want to actually go and exploit this vulnerability. So I'm using here an already deployed exploit in Metasploit. So I will do that. the first stage, before I actually go and exploit the vulnerability, I will scan, I'll do port scans of my server that has the same vulnerability to exploit, which is, as you can see, VSFTPD234, the same vulnerability that I found in Shodan on those servers, specifically on the country that I searched for. Again, a lot of countries has them. So VSFTPD234, it's a backdoor vulnerability. Which basically can give you a root access, just that, without username, that password, without any identification, without credentials, which makes it worse. So now I need to define for him the target IP, target port is 21. So I define for him the target IP and just go and use the exploit. I initiated using the exploit command. And as you can see, I got a root access basically, and gain the shell, gain an initial access into the server, just to show you that I actually got access to the server. Again, the same exploit, you will use it on those servers you found in Shodan. Just I ask you, don't do it, because to actually hack them, so don't do it, it's illegal. And now I see that I'm root, and I'm in the root directory also, and just for the POC, I will create a txt file, you have been pawned, and then I will swap my then I swap to my actually victim VM that I hacked, and I would show the file there that it was created using the root admin. And yeah, so you have been pawned, that's it. So you take this visibility, you take this such exploits, such organizations with such vulnerabilities, and you put AI, and you create phishing campaigns, and you create malware, and it's just a big mess. Okay, so let's continue with some ground solutions. Okay, it's very, very important to go through them. So we are not prophets. I'm not a prophet for sure, and thus cannot predict the future. The solution is to start noticing repeated patterns. Again, notice the repeated patterns, notice the trends, notice the behavior of those things, and you will realize how many risks you have, but also how you can predict the solutions for them. So it's very important, not just to be a technical guy or a management kind of guy. Yes, you need to be very cooperative, very strong, communicatively, and technical, of course, but you need to see the repeated patterns. Very, very important. So be smart. Closed mindset leads to bad security. It's a fact, with AI or without AI. Solution is to change your mindset, to adapt to new changes, to apply better security. You need to always think outside the box. You need to see the trends. You need to think, okay, so we have a problem. Nice, okay, but how can I provide a solution? And again, solution can differ between different organizations, different business, whether it's a small business, medium business, an enterprise. It really depends. To buy a security solution without testing it is like buying a car without a test, which basically is what happens all around the world. Organizations go and they just buy the most maybe cheapest tool or with the best deal, but they don't really go and evaluate those tools. They don't go and compare them with other tools. So it's like, just like buying a car without, like, okay, understand what its pros and cons, what's the good side of this car and the bad thing. So the solution, test security solutions by asking the right questions, whether it's a business questions, support, and stuff like support. Okay, so I have an incident, a cyber incident. What kind of support you provide me? What is the SLA? But also bring a technical guy like me or like anyone else that is considered to be a security researcher, red teamer. I personally wrote a book about antivirus and EDRs called Antivirus Bypass Techniques. So you can use my services or other guys to actually go and test those solutions. So not only from the business side and from the SLA and stuff like this, but also like, okay, technically it can stop this kind of ransomware and info stealers, but this EDR is not so aligned with the needs of the organization or the security needs of the organization. Okay, so test security solutions by asking the right questions and practically validate them. Practically validate them. This is my emphasis here. Security solutions are not a magic wand to solve your problems. They just not. They just tools. Okay, you can't say like a hammer is my solution. A hammer can help you to, put a nice picture on the wall, or I can kill someone. But it's a tool, yeah. Solution, start applying security with what you already have. So basically, you don't always need to go and put a lot of money and millions of dollars and thousands of dollars in a security solution. You just go and do some hardening procedures, strengthening your passwords, using 2FA, stuff like this. Basic stuff. I see a lot of organizations use like very high priced products with, and yeah, in the end of the day, they don't do the basic stuff like 2FA and session revocation and stuff like this. Lack of awareness can be more dangerous than misconfigured and vulnerable systems. It's a fact. Most of the initial access today, most of the way that attackers gain access to those organizations, their first foothold is phishing, social engineering, whether it's physical or remotely. Sneer provide amazing examples for me personally. I'm as a red teamer. I also with my friend, we also did a very similar campaign. We sent a meeting in Teams, and we then send a CV to the person. He double clicked on it. It was a Excel. It was a Word document with a VBA macro. The EDR didn't really detect it because we actually made sure that the EDR will not detect it. We implement some bypass techniques, and we gain access to his computer, and there it was game over. We actually got access to their bank accounts with tens of millions of dollars. Amazing. Solution: learn and teach to become and make others more aware. Awareness is 50% of the solution, not only in cybersecurity, but in every aspect of our lives. Awareness. Don't be a robot. Be a human being. Yeah, that's it. So the last things that I want to say is that for the first 50 subscribers, you have 20% of TrainSec Academy course using the following coupon. So just Cyber 20, okay, Cyber 2.0, excuse me. And if you have some financial problems, stuff like this, for more discounts, just contact us, info@trainsec.net. We will try to make it more affordable for you, no problem. Okay, so take this Cyber 2.0. Take this, and of course, you can contact me. You can scan the QR code here. Again, I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you having me here. Thank you very much, and have a great day, a great weekend.
Thank you, dear Uriel. You make it look like it's so easy, being a hacker today, and this is exactly what we are speaking about. And this is amazing. I mean, this is very amazing.
Okay.
Please stay with us till the end. We want to open the questions and answers, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna have a lot of questions coming over for you. But
Okay.
again, you make it look like it's so very easy. So let's move to the other part. Thank you so much, Uriel, for that amazing presentation you had. You make it look like it's so easy. So as we
Thank you.
said, if you keep doing the same things, you will always get the same results. So let's see what happens when Erez started coming up against various cyber attacks that are using AI. And this is very interesting because when we started thinking about it, we thought that how we can start preventing attacks. How can we harness the chaos engine, our unique patent, to do cyber defense against AI-based attacks? And we want to protect everything because everything comes together. You have IT, OT, IoT, and other devices communicating over the network, and you need to protect all your critical assets. And you cannot do any mistakes. We need to employ zero trust technology. So let's see what we did. The way we saw it was very simple. But everyone else is trying to stop a single computer from getting penetrated, and as Uriel showed you, it's very easy to penetrate a single computer within the company. It's very easy. But the main damage of a cyber attack is not a single computer getting penetrated. The main damage of a cyber attack is once the malicious software starts spreading through the network, infecting other computers and other servers. Now, this is very interesting because once we realize this notion, we understand that the main damage is the spread of cyber attacks. So we are blocking the spread of cyber attack within an outside organizational network. And we need to stop new ones and unknown ones and multiple ones, and we need to do it in 0 times. Now let's explore what happened in the market. The most commonly used solution today is called EDR. EDR by definition means endpoint detect and response. Basically, these are solutions that are based on detection prevention. The same old mechanism we've been using for the last 20 years, IPS, IDS. What does it mean? Well, basically, it means very, very simple. First, you have to detect and recognize every malicious software, and then you are trying to prevent them. Now, these guys are doing anomaly detections, and these guys are doing behavior analysis, and these guys are doing deep pocket inspection and so on. And each company have their own unique technology and unique algorithm. They are trying the best way to protect you, but they can't. Now, why is that? Well, first of all, the basic notion of endpoint detect and response means you completely relied on detection. You have to detect the malicious software all the time. You have to continue detecting and continue detecting the malicious software. And it's a not fair world, you know. Defense guy needs to succeed 100% of the time, and the hacker needs to succeed only once. Only once you need to succeed in order for you to protect your critical assets. Now, let's see what happens on the prevention. There are also problems in the prevention, you know, because hackers are getting smart and the AI is helping them to make reverse engineering even smarter. So once a hacker gets a hold of a single computer, the first thing the hacker will do is disable the defense system. And once the hacker disables the defense system, well, he can do whatever he wants to, and the response is gone. The detection is gone, the response is gone. And this is the challenges we are facing. And this is why we are saying we are beyond EDR. It's just being the detect and response, but you also have to do it differently. You have to realize that somewhere, somehow, you will not be able to identify a malicious software. New malicious software comes up every time, every moment, and you have to be ready with defense systems that work in a zero trust manner. How can I protect against the unknown? How can I protect my customers if I cannot detect the malicious software? More than that, what happens if a hacker, if an employee, if somebody bribes my employee and the employee removes the defense systems? We build our system in a way that even if a hacker removes me from an infected computer, I continue protecting the network. And we are using chaos algorithm. We spoke about it in the beginning. Now let's explore why did we went to chaos algorithm. When we started exploring the cyber world, we saw the cyber world back in 1984 was born, and it was based on biological model. All the terms in that cyber world are borrowed from biology. The same way a biological virus behaves when he infiltrates the human body, the same way a computer virus will behave once it enters a computer. And once we understand that, we need to bring and think differently. Now let's explore that a bit. Recently, we also what happened when a new virus came to the biological world. We had COVID-19. And when COVID-19 erupted, what happened? Everybody got infected. As we said, the main damage is the spread of a malicious, in this case, of a virus. So what did we do? We went to get ourselves vaccinated. We got a shot. And eventually what happened is, well, we had variation, we had mutation, we had the Omicron virus, we had the Delta virus, and then we had to do the booster shot and all over again. The same idea, the same notion applies to viruses, computer, and malicious software. The first customer is always getting infected. And then what do? We do critical patches and security updates. The same vaccine we give the human body, we give it to the computer by using critical patches and security updates. And then we have mutation, we have variation, we have new viruses. You take a computer virus, change one line in the code, AI can do it simultaneously millions of times, and then you have to do it all over again, critical patches and security updates. So biological systems, even though they are very great, they cannot protect against the unknown. And more than that, they are only starting to protect after they're getting infected. So our CTO, which will get the mic in a single way and will explain to you the chaos engine and how we are operating, well, he started thinking. And then he understood that computers, well, they're binary creatures. They speak mathematics. So if they speak mathematics, let's work native to the computer. Let's use their own language to protect them. And we based our defense system using mathematical chaos model. Now, it's a brand new approach. It's quite unique. We are the only ones who uses it. And well, it's protected by 9 patents. It's very, very interesting. What is chaos algorithm? I will let Erez explain to you further on, but just for a notion, a system that we may know from a daily basis that is based on chaos algorithm, well, basically it's the weather. You can never 100% predict the weather. The same idea of a system that cannot be 100% predicted, like the weather, we implemented it into cyber defense systems. Now, we always have to think differently and invent ourselves all over again. Everybody's going to the customers and telling them they have the best cyber solution in town. We decided to do it the other way around. We decided to put our money where our mouth is, and instead of going and telling the customers we have the best cyber solution, we went to the hackers. We invited all the hackers to come and try and participate in hacking challenges that we held. To make it easier on the hackers, we gave them admin user. We gave them admin password. We gave them a legit computer within the network, and all they had to do was obtain a file from a file server from a known location. No antivirus was deployed, no EDR was deployed, no firewall was deployed. All they had to do was obtain a file from a file server from a known location. No one was able to beat the challenge. No one was able to penetrate a network that is protected by our system. Our system combines several capabilities. We spoke about EDR, we spoke about zero trust. Erez will also be telling you about our agent and our unique technology. Our agent works as a network filter driver, enabling us to give you NAC, network access control, identifying every network obscurement, every new device that is broadcasting over the network, protecting your critical assets, and enabling you to know all the lateral movement you have going through your network. We are able to show you in real time all the traffic you have going through your network, giving you a great forensic capability. Now, this can all be delivered to our customers since everyone is doing everything. So we did it as full on-premise installment or using our own cloud, using private cloud. We have various ways to deploy the Cyber 2.0 agent. Now, our agent does various interesting things. First of all, we have an agent, and the agent start monitoring. Now, only in Monitor, we give you a great asset, a great tool in Monitor. Every process that comes up, every library file, every DLL file that comes up, we record it. But we are not just recording it, we are taking their MD5, the SHA signature, and their size, their unique parameters. Now, I want you to know, our monitor mode is a patented monitor mode. No one else has this tool. It's unique because we are able to show you every access of one process to another process. We record it. And every chain of communication is shown by the Cyber 2.0 agent, enabling our chaos algorithm engine to block any attack by scrambling the communications. This is my 5 cents to you, and I would like to give it to Erez Kaplan to start exploring and give you a deep technical dive about the system and what it can do. Erez, are you up?
I am up. Thank you very much for the
Erez, the
introduction.
floor is yours.
Sorry?
The floor is yours. Share your screen and good luck.
Thank you. I'm sharing my screen. Everyone can see my screen, correct?
Yes, we can.
Okay, you've heard a lot about AI during this session. I would like to sum it up for you, make it a bit more clearer to understand the true danger, and I will make it short, I promise. There is an inherent problem within the cybersecurity world, and the problem is not new, it is old. The hackers are always one step ahead. What does it mean? It means that we have cyber defenses in place. We got anomaly and behavior analysis. We got everything that you can think of. But still, somehow, the hacker managed to hack into almost every system that there is. The reason is simple. The hackers are coming from inside the industry. They know how do we work. They know what we search for. They are the ones that wrote the defenses in most of the cases and switched to the other side, or the one that actually invented them, investigated them. We will discuss this later. So every time that a new defense rises, that a new, let's say, anomaly-based detection methodology or algorithm rises, there is always something that knows that, and it will write something that will be undetectable for that system. it is an endless loop. The hackers are always one step ahead. Why am I telling you, and what's the connection to AI? Because this is obvious. The problem is simple. In order, and that's not something that a lot of people are aware of, in order to mitigate it, the base of AI was actually invented in the cybersecurity world. What you know as anomaly-based detection or as machine learning or behavior analysis is the base for what we call AI today. So in order to combat all the changes that wreak havoc throughout the network, the internet, and our organization, we invented something that will analyze the threat, the databases, find patterns that we cannot see. Basically, it was the base for modern AI. So cybersecurity were one step ahead, but still the hacker used the same methodology, knew precisely what we are doing, coming from the same world, and knew how to bypass it. But now they upscale everything. Now AI is common used by everyone. And as Sneer so delightfully said, a child can take a code. The code is there on Git. Search for something called GitHub Zoo. There are codes that are designed to be studied by security researchers of almost every known ransom or malicious-ware that there is. He can take this code that every cybersecurity system is aware of, put it in even ChatGPT. You don't need to go to the dangerous one, and tell him to put 1,000 variations. He doesn't need to code. We will have 1,000 variations. Most of them will be dropped by the machine analysis and the behavior and the anomalies, but 10% of them will not. And it can inject each day a new virus and a new virus, and the load over the system, we are seeing it all around the world, is increasing by tenfold. The most secure systems are getting hacked because we can protect it. The estimated time for state-of-the-art EDR or XDR to detect something is approximately 6 months. And by the time they detect it, unless of course it detects somewhere else, there's a new thing and a new thing and a new thing, and they don't aim to destroy you or to, let's say, kill your information or to scramble it or to whatever ransomware does in the old days. They steal the information. They steal bits by bits. They will steal your credit card and will stay in your system. They will steal information and trade it. The more they are in your system undetected, the better it is for them. The hacks that we know of are not the hack that we are worried about. And that's where everything begins to get more and more complicated, because AI in the hands of the hacker is a tool that once was the main tool for the cybersecurity, and now everything is reversed. So this is a dangerous new world, and most cyber securities don't know how to handle this. And that's the problem that we are facing. We have a solution, Cyber 2.0, that can mitigate this type of attack because of our use of our chaos-based defense system, and we will discuss this, why it is so efficient against multiple varying AI attacks. Let us begin. Cyber 2.0 is a basic tool. We are agent-based. We are deployed throughout the network. And what we are doing is extremely simple. There is a trust list. How we are getting the trust list, I will explain in a couple of slides. But once you are on the trust list, you are allowed to move forward. But there are some changes between what we are doing and what a firewall is doing. Anything that is allowed to bypass forward, to move forward, to spread throughout the network, we take the port number, in this scenario is port 80, and we change it into a pseudo-random port using chaos and time-based algorithm. In this scenario, 80 was turned into 10,000. On the other side, there is a reverse algorithm. Port 80, who turned into 10,000, scrambled back into port 80. From the computer perspective, nothing has changed. In their perspective, they are speaking and communicating with the original port, not knowing or aware that something has changed in between. On the same computer, an unknown, unwanted, malicious, can be even something else, we will discuss it, tries to do precisely the same thing, but it is not on our trust list. And if you will try to use port number 80, we will allow her to use port number 80. We scramble only those we are allowing to move. and a program that remained on port number 80 and reached the other side on port number 80, on the other side, everything gets scrambled. So port 80 remained at port 80 will be scrambled into a garbage port at that specific second and will be discarded by the computer itself. So why is this scenario so powerful in mitigating the spread of cyber attacks throughout the network? Let's explore this. There are several ways where hacker can try to utilize attacks and mitigate, bypass, or deactivate cyber defenses. The first one is a bypassing attack. Simple scenario. An attacker can inject stuff directly into a layer 2 port, bypassing every firewall or antivirus that there are. An attacker can try to attack the process directly. Once the famous one was Spectre and Meltdown, today you've got almost every day, not in the process, let's say every week, a new hack to the process, both to Intel and to AMD and to others. Attacking the processor will cause the processor to do whatever you want, ignoring the defenses. Another favorite bypassing attack is something embedded within the motherboard, the computer, the device you are using. Basically, it's acting in a completely different layer from the operating system, therefore undetected. He can scan the network or the local drives and do whatever he wants to do by running a simple, for example, very small Linux. This attack is usually favored by OT devices. It's called the Chinese chip attack, but it happens a lot in IT environment. Examples are varied. Even Asus got infected and recalled the whole, let's say, line of motherboards because someone has managed to plant something on the ROM. Any type of this attack and many more will allow hacker to bypass any type of cyber defenses. And bypassing Cyber 2.0 in one of these methods or any other that you can think of will result in one thing only. The attacker will go out on the original port. I haven't prevented it before. I don't have any reason to prevent it now. So you go out on the original port, and once again, you will get blocked. But here we see why Cyber 2.0 is so effective. We are aware that the first computer will be compromised. We know it. It's a proven fact, either because there are vulnerabilities that no one is know about, or maybe there is a hack in one of the files that you're using, maybe a firewall, a VPN, or maybe the user being a user pressed a link, which is the most common scenario. The other computer is the one who is doing the defenses, the uncompromised one. No matter what level of holding you've got on the first computer, even if you got full domain admin privileges and you manage to somehow do it, you will not be able to move outside the boundaries of the physical computer where you're at. Even if the user is currently opening files from a network share or a map drive, the virus, the ransomware, the stealware will be locked down. Second type of attack, which is the most common, Sneer has mentioned it, disabling attack. This is probably one of the most common attacks that you will see. I've managed to gain a foothold on one of your servers by chance, by a bot or whatever. First thing that I will try to do is to disable your local defenses. Now, your local defenses are protected, but as a hacker and as a programmer, I've got kill commands, rootkit attack, memory manipulation, and a host of tools that will allow me to disable your defenses, including a very large database that is called Google or ChatGPT, for example. They will tell me how to disable your defenses if I don't know how. And a lot of time, this thing will be automated. The thing that will allow me to disable your defenses after I have done it, I'm safe. Your system cannot detect me, and I can slowly probe other systems, disable their defenses, move throughout your network, get what I want, and you will be helpless. Disabling Cyber 2.0 needs the same tools, memory manipulation, rootkit attack, kill commands, and so forth. But if you disable me, the only thing that you will achieve is you will automatically lock down the computer. I don't have to do anything active. Once Cyber 2.0 is down, all communication from that computer forward is locked down, going unscrambled, and only the IT can access it if they want to. They can do it physically or remotely. They can remove a defense from a single computer. it is allow them a safe breach to know that even such an attack will not be able to spread throughout their network, detected or undetected. They will be blocked in the second they will be tried. Then come the most feared, let's say one of the most feared type of attacks. And that attack usually done by countries or large criminal organization where a hacker have 50 programmers or more behind him, backing him. They have done reverse engineering. They know they know precisely what attack vector to use. And once they reach an organization, they use their own defenses in order to spread throughout its network. And they will add a DLL there, change something in the firewall trust list here, and they will slowly move under the guise of your own defenses, utilizing them, using them to spread inside your network. It has been done countless times. It will be done countless more. It's the most problematic way of them all. And there is almost no stopping it, unless you have Cyber 2.0. Cyber 2.0 is a unique patent that is designed especially for this scenario. I cannot prevent reverse engineering. It's impossible. The agent is out there for a lot of years. But take my code, change any part of it. Let's say that you've managed to edit the trust list itself to enter yourself there. Almost impossible, but mathematically plausible. Any type of change that you will introduce to my system will allow you to go out scrambled, but in the wrong way. This is a chaos-based algorithm. Change any part of the agent and you will achieve two things. The algorithm will change the result because it is based on the thing that you have changes. And the agent communicate every minute, with a central server. Once the agent is communicating, it sends various information about it. And that information tell him that someone has changed stuff at the agent, that they don't work, that it is changed, and all the alarm bell will ring. So not only the attack will be mitigated in 0 seconds, you will be notified about it in up to 1 minute. So more complicated attack, more easily blocked and notified. Now, the third type of attack, this is something that actually happened at one of our customers. I can give you the customer name. This is something that is done before the network. Malicious software give a chain of command. It can do it via SVC host, schedule test, PowerShell, exploit in Chrome or in Word or in multiple type of scenarios. It will allow it to bypass into the network undetected by using legitimate tools. This is actually a very problematic attack to discover because it can utilize either PowerShell, vulnerabilities in known application, and the list goes on and on. And most of the zero-day vulnerabilities are hacks like this. In order to mitigate that, Cyber 2.0 has the second layer. We call it the reverse tracking. It's work hand in hand with the chaos mechanism, and it resides in your own computer and does various and simple things, but extremely powerful. Every process and every library file and every sub-process that flows into memory are recorded. We record various information about them. We generate the hashes on the fly as they go up. And we create an active inventory of everything that was active in your computer from the moment Cyber 2.0 was active. The third thing that we are doing is mark the connection between the processes as they happen. Process 1 interacted with process 2. What he did, we don't know. We don't bother to check it. Unlike other cyber software company, it can be utilizing a hack, injection, file system access, inter-process communication, memory access, everything goes. We don't care. 1 did something to 2, to 3, to 4, and then 4 went out into the network. When he does, we know in advance everything that was part of his activation. And we will know that if one of these, let's say, party involved is not in our trust list, the entire chain will be broken once this application will try to go out into the network, whether it is Outlook or Word, whether it is allowed or unallowed. If someone has tried to utilize something, and that something was unknown or unwanted or unregistered, the chain will be broken. This allows us to do the following. It creates an active inventory, as I said, of everything that was active from the moment Cyber 2.0 was there. The database also holds the hashes. So if someone, cyber authority, an urgent mail, tell you, find these hashes, check your computer, check your network, because if they are there, you've been hacked, simply take it, put it in Cyber 2.0 system, and the moment you'll type in, you'll know precisely if it is in your network, when it was discovered first, and on which computer, and then it was detected on each computer. It will also tell you no one bothered to add it to the trust list, so it was blocked on the first computer it arrived. Something that happened to us on more than one occasion, I'm happy to say. The third thing, which is very good for management, the database is structured in order to be compliant with multiple required regulation from 27001 to HIPAA to PCI and various others. It allows you much more easily to mark a lot of V toward being compliant in multiple regulations. Now, a word about AI and Cyber 2.0 engine. AI utilizes multiple variants, and it trusts that your cyber software security will not be able to detect them, whether they are stealth, whether there are multiple variants and changes that are hidden in plain sight, because anomaly and behavior analysis change between each version. And if someone has created 1,000 versions of the same code, it will be a hard time for your system to track it. Cyber 2.0 don't even bother. If it was not authorized before in advance, you can put 1 million versions of the same ransomware, it will still get blocked by the same system effortlessly. It also allows us to be deployed in what we call air-gapped network, OT network, completely disconnected from the network and giving them the same protection even without updates, because updates are not necessary at all in Cyber 2.0. You can put update, you can add, for example, more hashes to the detection to the database, but the blocking mechanism will work either way, no matter in what type you will try to breach. We will simply won't allow it in any attempt to bypass Cyber 2.0 in any form that we have just demonstrated, will simply be blocked by the chaos engine directly. Let's move forward a bit. Something that is very important to emphasize, which is GDPR. GDPR, we help organizations to be compliant with it, but we do not violate it in any way. The information that Cyber 2.0 harvests include a lot of stuff. But if someone will open a Word document, for example, I will know which computer, which user, the path, where it was on the network. I will know when it was open. I will know which program tried to open it, but I don't read the data inside. If the document will drop a payload, I will read the payload, of course. So I don't read secured and private information. Same goes for internet connection. I know every program that went outside the boundaries of your computer toward the internet or internally. I know which port it was used. I know which user initiated it. I know source and destination IP. I know everything. I don't read the data in the connection itself unless it drop a payload. I will deal with the payload when I try to mitigate or spread inside the network, blocking it and preventing the attack completely. Next thing, the Vortex gateway. In our world, there is what we call the OT and IoT system. You've got cameras, you got printers, you got doors, you got smart cities, you got smart homes, you got smart environments, and you got OT environment. A lot of this environment, you are not allowed or you cannot install any protective measure on it. A Vortex gateway can be as small as a mouse and can be large depending on what it protects. And it allowed me to extend Cyber 2.0 protection to OT and IoT devices seamlessly. It's extremely easy. It works as a bridge, doesn't need to change anything in your network environment. And it's an extension of the Cyber 2.0 system. Of course, the system without a vortex can still have cameras and everything deployed with an exclusion. But if you want to give protection to these devices and from these devices, a vortex is a very, very easy solution because, as I said, it doesn't need to change anything in your environment at all. A vortex can also be deployed in front of a firewall. It means that if you want to extend the protection toward the internet, which is something very interesting, you can deploy a vortex gateway there. What does it mean? For now, we protect the internal environment. Something managed to hack itself in because of smart users. We will block the spread and the effect of the attack completely. But if someone has deployed a rat, or allowing him reverse shell and maybe remote controlling your computer, we won't block it because it's for the internet. We'll block anything that it will put on that computer forward. But we want to block this as well. So we deploy a vortex gateway in front of the firewall, extending the protection toward the internet as well. It means that only program that you are allowing, if you allows, will be able to move forward. The vortex will act as a translator toward the firewall, extending the chaos toward there. And everything that will try to impose itself as something that the firewall will usually move forward because the firewall doesn't know, will be blocked by the vortex. An extension to the home that allow remote control, a rat using PowerShell to create a reverse shell, everything will be blocked by the vortex. The firewall will only receive the allowed communication with the normal ports. Anything else will be blocked. It will also lower the threshold from the firewall itself, allowing it to operate much more effectively. Just a second, please. As I said, OT gateways, we protect them seamlessly. We'll let Sneer discuss this later, but we are approved in the OT environment, won various prizes. One of the organizations that have checked and approved us is the United States NIST, which is, I don't think that you can get a better stampede of approval than any other organization. The OT gateway can be deployed seamlessly as one-to-many or one-to-one, depending on your network architecture, allowing you to deploy less vortex gateway. But as again, we do not change the architecture. We simply add ourselves to it. It allows very large flexibility in multiple scenarios. In order to, as our friend said, before you buy a cyber system, you need to test it. And that's a very, very smart remark. It's also true because you need to test it in your own environment to see how it behaves, to see that it gives you what you want to be given. So what we usually do in order to prove the worth of Cyber 2.0 is precisely what he suggested. We deploy Cyber 2.0 in a POC environment between 10 to 20, depending on the size of the organization. It can be more computers. We put it in monitor mode, simulating chaos mode. No need for any preparation. It's connected directly to our clouds. And after 14 days, we give you a report from the system. Of course, during these 40 days, we teach you about the tools that you are connected to, the cloud tool that you are connected to. We give you training and access to this tool as well. And then we show you what is transpiring inside your network after everything else is deployed. We don't ask you to remove current defenses because they work differently. They don't interrupt us and we don't interrupt them. We work together. It's a very major advantage of ours. And you will see everything that should have been blocked, might have been blocked, and is currently active inside your own environment. And let's see an example of such a report that we can deploy. We deploy
this report is of a real customer. We wiped down the name and everything, but this is a real report from a live customer that we just put 20 computers in monitor mode where we deploy the agent through our cloud agent. Please.
Thank you. So the first thing, we analyzed slice of the network. And the first thing that we detected that it had multiple IPv6 traffic. IPv6 traffic does two very problematic things. First, it clutters the switches and the network because it always gets precedence over IPv4 traffic, which is bad. And we are seeing, this is just a very small slice from the actual report, that it has a lot of traffic on IPv6. We see various destination ports, including 0, including 3702, and various others that were visible. It meaning that it's actively using, his network is actively using IPv6 traffic. We see a lot of broadcast. And the zero, for example, is ICMP, which is ping. Someone is scanning the network. In this scenario, these are all broadcasts, and we see the reporting computers. The second thing that we saw was problematic DNS configuration, meaning that only a DC is allowed to go into.
Okay lang, Kuya Pera. Ba't ka ba? Gagawin na. Ha? Sakit.
Please mute.
Ano, Pera? Hindi naman ano. Ano, kung... Kaya damit dyan na.
Second. That's it. Thank you, Sneer. Okay, so we see problem with the DNS configuration.
Please share your screen.
Okay.
Incidents is part of life.
Okay, so we see problem in DNS configuration. Then we see a lot of miscast broadcast, tremendous amount of broadcast that shouldn't be there. It means either problem with, in this scenario, file sharing or various other. I don't want to delve too deep into this. We see a lot of normal broadcast, but the amount is staggering, especially in port 1900. We always know the source IP, as you can see, so we give this to the customer. Then we see other problem. We see KeyPass, which is the wrong version that was hacked. We see Daimler product that was part of a major hack in the past.
Now, important to add that the KeyPass is a great software and Daimler products are okay. But this version of KeyPass and this version of Daimler product can be easily broken into. You can write them down in Google. You don't need ChatGPT or Fraud GPT to bypass them. These are very old, very known, and very hacked versions of KeyPass that can be easily mitigated as a backdoor to penetrate the organization.
And one of the problems, this specific version were used by the SolarWinds attack, the Daimler especially. We see a lot of PDF tool that should not be there. We don't like using this PDF tool unless there's a specific reason. There was not specific reason. It's tool that were downloaded by the user. The tools are okay, but they can have a lot of access usually in this type of tool, usually commercial type. Then we saw a lot of unknown application. We, of course, give it to the customer. They need to verify which one was them and which was not. Then we saw various, this is just to prove how powerful Cyber 2.0 does. We saw every team, Zoom, or any type of interaction that allow remote control beyond the normal remote control tool. We saw every network tool that was active, from PuTTY to IPconfig to net, everything that was active and used on which computer, which version. We see everything. Question?
All right, thank you very much, Erez. If anybody have any questions, this is the time. You can write them. We can read them for you, or you can open your mic and ask away. All right, so I see no questions are coming in. All right, so let us conclude this presentation and this webinar. It's important, if I want to summarize everything we wanted to show, is very simple. While everyone else is using detection prevention, we are using zero trust. While everyone else prevention is relied on them being active, we continue protecting the network even if a hacker removes you from an infected computer. We're using chaos algorithm and we're putting our system to the public test. Very great to implement and very easy to implement. We have various advantages in protecting various customers in various regions, enabling us to protect, deploy very easily, give you the risk assessment for free, and I implore you and I ask you, you've been to the webinar, we'll send you the certificates, of course, and I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for participating. Thank you for coming. Anyone who wants to try and test out the system will give you a free POC where at the end you will receive our risk assessment report. Now let's see if we have any questions. Not at the moment. Anybody? Question? Can we have a recorded video of the webinar? Yes, of course. The recorded webinar will be published on the YouTube, on our Cyber 2.0 YouTube channel, and you'll be able to follow it. We'll publish it on LinkedIn, and we'll publish all the links. And thank you very much. Anything else? Uriel, you have anything you want to add?
No, just it was very fun for me.
Well, thank you very much.
If I may say something, my name is Ruby. I'm the head of the IT of M2. I saw this lecture was supposed to give us some steps and how the best using the tools. Or am I wrong? Just to how to be the best in the AI and the tools and how to search, how to use it.
Well, it really depends on the needs that you have, but basically you need to learn the LLM models. Let's say you want to use ChatGPT or even other stuff like Bard and stuff like this, and you need to like really understand how they work, how they react to your questions. And by the time that you learn how they react, you can also teach the LLM model to like, okay, I don't like it. I don't like this answer. Okay, so like let's say you want a detection rule of Yara rule or Sigma rule to detect a malware, let's say, or something related. And you say that it actually generated for you a detection rule that is false positive, or not only false positive, maybe even with a syntax error. So you can teach it, okay, this is the way to write it. And then you can, I give you an example. I had this customer that asked me for 100 Sigma rules. Without AI, it would take me something like 2 days, and I'm really proficient with Sigma. But with AI, it took me 2 hours. Just teach them, teach the LLM model. I ask what I need, what kind of TTPs or attack techniques I want to detect, and that's it.
Okay, so maybe
Easy money for me
mistake.
it was.
Yeah, I know, but maybe it's my mistake because I saw this lecture supposed to teach us how the basics AI works and how to use it for the best of our interest. So, okay, but I enjoy it also. Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie. I'm sorry if you got it wrong. The main idea was to explore AI-based attack to see how we are handling them, what's wrong with them. We showed you how it can be used. Uriel showed you exactly how he's using Fraud GPT to ask and put a worm and a virus on. But that is amazing. I mean, I think everybody should be up in the news, listening, identifying, learning, because the AI is all over the place, and we always have to keep ourselves updated with various systems. Somebody wanted to ask a question about mail protection.
Yes, also,
That's
if I
me.
may.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
If I have,
Okay.
okay, I will let him.
Speaking.
I will let him.
My name is Itzik. I'm from Yotvata Kibbutz. Sneer and Erez knows me and knows
Send me a
my
bottle of choco. Send me a
organization.
bottle of choco of Yotvata
Yes,
choco.
yes, the Choco is the best in the world.
Yeah.
Also mocha, coffee, and everything else.
Yeah, sure.
I know in the cyber offices, unfortunately, they don't drink our milk. I spoke about this with Sneer, and he promised me that will be changed.
We'll do so, sir.
Okay. My question is about the mail protection. I know that Cyber 2 makes about software and against software in IT and OT. But last week one of our employees get some suspicious mails, and he opened it, and the mail is published himself for hundreds of mails in the organization and outside. One is our customers and block us for more than a week. and it's make us a big problem. Because we need to change all the about 100 password of employees, and makes an MFA and etc. etc. It costs to us a lot of money and many troubles. So my question is, how Cyber2 protects, if it could, protects against phishing mail and kind of this malware?
Erez?
Yes, I will take this. What you received is not a malware. The problem was that the cloud was attacked. It's outside the organization. The phishing attack was targeting the user in order to steal the password. Simple as that. Sometimes this type of attack doesn't involve a code, sometimes they are. I usually get tons of email like this. It's usually accompanied with a document that states this is a document signed, you need to open it, a package, or from the mail package that you receive to other. There is no protection against this. This is designed, what we call mass psychology. It is designed and it's becoming more efficiently with AI because the message and the responses are looking super real and different between each email. The only protection that you can currently have against such a phishing attack, basically it's two types. The first of all, you need to train your employee. They need to have usually a semi-annual training about how to detect new type of phishing attack. This is very, very important. The second thing, which is the most important thing of them all, activate two-factor authentication, 2FA. It's vital. Even if you have two-factor authentication, there are ways to steal it momentarily. But even though this is the best attack, because even after they manage to steal it, the 2FA will still be there. An example for how people can steal 2FA easily is with the same phishing attack. You get an email. In the email, there is a document. You open the document. The document inside requests you to re-authenticate yourself and put, of course, the 2FA on that moment. And that's that. You cannot protect against it. It's on the cloud.
Erez, we have another question in the chat. Can Cyber 2.0 be integrated with SIEM solutions like Splunk, QRadar, or Microsoft Sentinel?
The answer is yes. We have ways of sending information, or we allow information to be harvested from us, depending on how the solution wants to take the information. So the answer is yes.
And we have another question. Additional of licenses, which services and support do you have to customer? Well, all the services and other information, you'll be happy to go to our website or speak with Yana Hefer, the VP Sales of Cyber 2.0, and she'll be happy to support you and tailor your solution to you. If you have any other questions regarding cyber attacks or AI cyber attacks, we'll be happy to answer them. Other than that, feel free to get in touch with the team. I've written down Uriel's in the chat, and I've written down Yana's in the chat, and you have me, and you have us on LinkedIn. So feel free to get in touch with everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. And whatever you need, you can address us. The webinar will be deployed and will be shown through social media. I want to thank you and wish everyone Shabbat Shalom. Have a great weekend and take care of yourself. We'll see you next month to another monthly Cyber 2.0 webinar. Thank you so much and good luck. Take care. Godspeed.
Godspeed. Shabbat Shalom. Have a great weekend.